somehow or other, I got transported a little bit through Kirtan, through Jagannath Puri. And Jayapataka Maharaj, of course, he travels all over the world, he travels all over India, but he's very fond of Jagannath Puri. One time when I was living in India back in 1980, I think that was the year, I can't remember how we hooked up, but I was with him for about 4 months in Mayapur and arranging a festival for the devotees. He asked me to, 200 devotees wanted to go from the Mayapur festival to Jagannath Puri, and he asked if I could arrange the bogies from Calcutta to go there, and then the boats from all over, up and down the Ganges, and to go to Calcutta, so he's instructing me to do all these things. But we were also together with his disciple Ganga, is that his name? Ganga?
Gangadas.
Big guy, right? Italian devotee, who's in Mayapur. We were in his motorhome, and we were about, must have been 30 miles, quite a ways still from Jagannath Puri. And the land there is flat in Orissa, at least going to Puri. And he stopped the vehicle and he said, let us all get out. And he said, see the Sudarshan Chakra on top of the Jagannath temple? He says, as soon as you see the chakra, you're supposed to pay obeisances. So he gets out, falls down with this huge transcendental body, and pays obeisances to Lord Jagannath, this chakra on top of it. So I was told some pastimes. Once I was with him in the Mayapur Dham for a few months, trying to assist him in different things. And I was up in his room, and he was giving Gayatri mantra to a few devotees. And I always looked up to him like a big brother, senior god brother, but still he's, he has a lot of friendship, even with his disciples, isn't it? I say he's a lot of friendship with his disciples, but of course they know he's a guru, that they're guru. But anyway, in his room, on top of the temple building, it's a small room, but it's on the very top, and there's one big, large, grand bed there. And I was just curious. I said, do you sleep up there? He said, no, that's just for show. I sleep down here on the floor. So at one point also, he told me that Srila Prabhupada asked him and Bhavananda, he said, you both should make at least 10,000 disciples. You ever heard that? He told me that. That Prabhupada told him, gave him that order. So one time he's sitting in front of Panchatattva, and he's chanting, this is before his stroke, and he's chanting on like 5 pairs of beads at the same time. I said, what are you doing? He says, I have to initiate 200 people tomorrow. I have to chant on beads. So how are you going to do that, 200 rounds? So he chanted like on 5 pairs of beads, or maybe more at the same time. And I always saw that he had this, he always was jolly, but he always was grave at the same time. And he always was very approachable, if you can keep up with him, by his disciples. He showed me this ring he has, this one ring, and there's a shalagram Shiva on the ring. I didn't know, but it may be more or less a common thing among some pujaris in India. But he takes it off when he goes into the bathroom. At that time I learned you can also wear this gamsha made of wool. These red wool gamshas in India, and wool doesn't become contaminated, he says. It becomes purified just by the wind. So, and then another time, somehow we connected in South America, and I was looking for somewhere to go and preach and work under somebody, RGBC, where I was at before. There was some problems, so I was looking for some older god brother to work under. So he invited me to go with him to South America, to 5 or 6 countries, with another sannyasi whose name was Jagajivan Swami. And we went to Ecuador, Bolivia, and Peru, and Chile, and I think one other place. When we were in Bolivia, we arrived at the airport and all the devotees are there and they're so happy to see him. He's just like a father and he treats everybody like his children. And we got in this old car and there were 2 policemen. There was a motorcade that drove into the temple. But these police had no uniforms. They were just, it was a very poor country. He said it's run by drug lords. And so we go in his old car with the police. It's kind of funny. And we were there with your Guru Dev, and he arrived at the temple and gave a nice talk and so on. And in Chile, he introduced us to one of his disciples who's a Catholic nun, and she comes to Bhagavatam class every day wearing her Catholic nun robe, you know, someone wear dresses now, but the old style, covering your whole head, everything. And he said that she wanted to take initiation from him. She felt inspired in her worship of God by him as a guru. And he said, you must get permission from the superior mother of the convent. So they asked, and they said, as long as you do your duties, yeah, you could still chant Hare Krishna, take initiation. So, and then he came to Tucson. There's more pastimes, I'm just trying to remember. These went through my head during the kirtan. He came to Tucson, and we have a friend there who owns a limousine service. I don't know if you were there, RadhaPran, but we had, were there? So this man owns a limousine, stretch limousine service, and he's a vegetarian and Jewish, and very good friends of the temples, and very good friend of Govindas. Govindas makes so many friends. There should be Govindas in Phoenix. Whoever wants to do that. The Madhajis who know how to cook there. But he got in his limousine, and it was just a big long car, really. But all his disciples packed around him. He always wants to be with the devotees. It's like he's in the middle, and it's like 15 devotees crunched into the vehicle, and they're all around him and trying to, massage his, he's just making himself available. Same thing back in Mayapur. We went to the Ganga together, and he took a bath, and there's like 10 brahmacharis there who are helping him take a dip up and down. And he's falling over at one time, and they're picking him up. He's just kind of playing with him. It's so loving, so loving. And as a god brother, I was fortunate to have that kind of experience with him too. He's just so friendly and loving to everybody that I saw. And he loved to say 3 syllables a lot. 3 syllables. With his very powerful voice, he would say something like this. You can all say it at the same time. Gauranga! But very powerful. It's chanting. There's one other thing I should say. He asked me one time, because I needed some service to do in Mayapur. He said, could you help me write the letters to my disciples? I was a brahmachari at the time. And he said, I can't write all these disciples and do all my service. Can you answer their letters? So, I said, really? Me? But he commissioned me, empowered me to write some letters for him. And then he took the letters and looked at it and made sure. So I had to say, my dear such and such, my dear RadhaPran, please accept my blessing. So it was from me, actually. No, wasn't. But I don't know, it was your letter. But
He always wrote, my dear spiritual son.
Yeah, so he told me what to say, and I wrote it, and then he looked at it, and then he signed it. But I tried to do the best I could. And he was very merciful, again, as you mentioned, in coming here to Arizona. That's special. He came here to Tucson also.
He installed all the deities in Phoenix.
He didn't, I don't think he didn't install Srinathji.
Yeah.
He did.
He did?
Yeah.
He came to Srinathji too.
He was there.
Are you sure?
That's when we got our second initiation.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, excuse me. So, I took this much service to help beg him to come here. And I think if he came here again to this temple, somehow by Krishna's mercy, Lord Gaurunga's mercy, he can come here. I think he could help solve a lot of problems. He came here. His love just dissipates all the other stuff. So, anyway,
thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Padma Adi.